Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bob Does Reviews. Just a quick video today about how to take care of your wooden handled landscaping tools. I'm not an outdoorsman. I'm not a landscaper. I just use this from time to time. Outside gardening, digging holes, whatnot. But I want my stuff to last. This shovel was probably a good 20 years old. I think it was my boss's many years ago. I used to do construction cleanup, landscaping back in high school, and lo and behold, I kind of borrowed some of their stuff and never gave it back. All accidental. But today we're going to restore, preserve, whatever word you want to use, this shovel. It was outside for a couple months, buried underneath the snow. I wonder who could have left that there. Not naming any names, but let's get into this and show you guys how to take care of your garden equipment or anything with a wooden handle. All right, gentlemen, pardon the mess here behind me. I'm from the Midwest. It's winter time. I do have a propane heater in here, but what can you do? Come springtime, this place will look immaculate. So anyways, we have our shovel. I let it dry out by the heater. Just kind of get all the water out, all the moisture best I could. This is pretty easy. I'm not a big fan of wearing gloves when I work, but if I use the shovel, I would definitely have to, unless I want a bunch of splinters and cuts in my hand. Like I said, I never did anything with this. Never took the varnish off, or lacquer, whatever they use on these handles. I hate that stuff. It chips, peels. But anyways, we have some pretty good amount of cracking here on the handle. So first off, we're going to grab an aggressive piece of sandpaper. This is 60, and we're just going to kind of sand off all the paint, just make it smooth. Real easy. Don't say anything. Heck, it even still has the original price tag on here. Shows how much manual labor I do, huh? So we're just going to work this up and down, get it somewhat smooth, work our way up to a more finer sandpaper. I know you guys can kind of see my breath. It is chilly. I had the heater on for a while just to make it livable in here and tolerable, but due to the sound, that's all you guys would hear is the heat going. So. Yeah, we're going to call that good enough with the 60 grit sandpaper. Next, we'll move down to something finer, 150. Just keep working at it. The 60 grit took off a lot of the splintered edges, the paint, blood, what have you. Again, just working the grain. This was probably a $20 shovel, made in China. Probably got it at Walmart. This is nothing special, but we can make it look decent. Save our hands too in the process. I'm sure all you guys out there are good at this. All right, we're gonna call that good enough. Heck, if you want to stop right here, this is 10 times better than what it was. A lot smoother. Still has some paint on there, but that's all right. Good enough for who it's for, which is me. Just take a rag, make sure you have all the sawdust off, make it nice and clean. Yeah, this brand is Gardener's Value. Only the best. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, next step is to preserve this handle. This ain't the best quality wood. A lot of knots on here. So next, grab yourself some boiled linseed oil. Make sure it is boiled. If not, it is pretty sticky. It's about $10 on Amazon. I'll put a link below. I made this little container here out of an old cappuccino cup. Still smells like cappuccino. Cappuccino linseed oil. So put a rag in here. Put your boiled linseed oil in here. This will last you forever. And again, don't want to go crazy. You'd rather do a couple small coats than one big coat. And just work it in. It'd help if you guys could see it. And if you have too much on your rag, just Squeeze it out. I have too much on there. There we go. Boiled linseed oil is flammable, so make sure you keep it away from a heat source or sparks. Like I said, I keep mine in a metal tin. And look at that. And this wood, since we opened up the pores from sanding, it's going to drink it right up. Just do this once every couple months. After you do it after a couple months, maybe once a year. And make sure you really focus on that end grain, on that open handle. And just work it in. Very easy. I'm happy with that, gentlemen. This looks 1,000 times better. And if you have a nice shovel, nice axe at home, probably a much better quality wood, just imagine how much better yours will look than mine. I don't know if you guys could see that. Wow. And again, this ain't for looks. This is just for comfort. Extend the longevity of this cheap shovel. Not a fashion show when you work, but again, like I said, I don't like wearing gloves. I don't want to get splinters. And if I didn't do this, this would tear my hand right up. All right, I cleaned off the edge of the shovel. It's pretty good shape. It doesn't see too much use, but if you want, grab yourself a wire brush. Just kind of get all the rust off, all the dirt. Again, this is not important. This is pretty clean. And then, again, this is a digging shovel, not a transfer shovel. I like to have mine a little bit sharp, just to make it easier to break through the fun clay here in the Midwest. And I'm just going to very gently push on the edge with my file. Don't do this. Don't go crazy with it. That just dulls your file a lot faster. Just uniform strokes, and you can see a slight edge coming to this. So that way you can dig through your roots, your clay, electrical wires, natural gas lines. You can just hear how bad this was. This was not sharp at all. Again, I don't want a knife. Just taking that edge down to a point and flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. That's good. I'm happy with that. All right, gentlemen, what do you think? 10 times better? Put a little too much of that linseed oil on, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll all be soaked in. So yeah, this $20 shovel has another 20 years left in it easily. And I'll do this again in a couple months till it soaks it up into the wood. And after that, I'll probably just do it once a year. All right, gentlemen, take care of your tools. Make your life easier. I'm sure you guys have a much nicer shovel than this, so imagine how much better it's going to look and how much longer lasting it'll be. Catch you guys on the next one.